think I need some coffee. They've got all kinds of relief supplies ready to go, and they'll be down here just as soon as they can come down the road.
Yeah, I read a tweet earlier that you even have people volunteers with FEMA coming from Kentucky here to help us out. I mean, you always do that whenever there is a disaster, but of course we're grateful that we have people in other states just standing by and just offering aid. People need it.
We'll hear from city leaders, and they'll set up distribution centers for those organizations that are coming in here to help, and then we'll be able to tell everybody where to go to get that aid and these supplies.
Okay, and can you give us an update?
Yep, this is the latest Doppler radar sequence, and again, that red box that just popped up here, this is a tornado watch box. Again, north and east of the center of circulation. Here is the eye of the storm. It has made landfall just a hair after 10 o'clock tonight. North of Port Aransas and up towards Copano Bay. And you can see the spiral bands that come in. We'll zoom in here a little bit closer. And again, this is the worst of the storm. Normally the worst of the storm is up in the front like this and off to the right. But these bands wrapped around as it made landfall about 25 minutes ago. And so now the major amount of damage is taking place from Aransas Pass down to Port Aransas, and the winds are going from the north to the northwest to the west, and that's indicative of the counterclockwise circulation around this. You're still seeing heavy rain and devastating winds in Portland, in Taft, in Sinton, and on up the road towards Refugio. It's headed your way. This part of the eye wall is going to mow down the Refugio area and Refugio County. And then the winds on the backside of this are going to roll in with it. And again, I'm afraid there's going to be a lot of damage up in Refugio County because of this feature. This happened in Claudette. We had 30-mile-an-hour winds on the south side of Corpus Christi, at 80-mile-an-hour winds up around Refugio and Tivoli and stretching across to Beeville, where there was extensive amount of damage. One side of the coastal bend didn't have any problems at all. It was like another summer day. And the north side had a tremendous amount of damage in a small path. This is going to be a large path of damage, and instead of being north to south, the damage here is going to be northeast, graduating to the southwest, and not seen as much. So we zoom in closer, and again, you can see the heaviest rain in red here. This is the eye wall rains, and these are the severe tropical downpours that are transpiring right now. Again, Bayside is going to get clobbered right now, and then on up the coast.
But whether they want to hear it or not, the Lord always sends forth watchmen to warn. He always does. He never does anything till he warns.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Brother Christopher here once again and stuff. I had another vision the other night, and I thought I would share it with you. You know, I had this vision. Well, it started off pretty much as a dream, you know, and in my dream, it seemed I was running from war, and you know, most of my dreams be about war and stuff, y'all, but I was having a dream that I was running from people most of the night. But right at the very end of my dreams that I was having, I seem to have been accompanied by an angel. He was showing me water, a whole bunch of water that covered a town, and he told me this, and this is what I think I heard. I know I heard this, but said, this is Louisiana, and it will be underwater indefinitely. And I looked, but when he said it like indefinitely, like, you know what I mean? It was weird. He said, this is Louisiana. And as I was looking at what he was showing me, it was like I went underwater with him, and we were looking at like a town with debris floating around, like we were underwater, looking underwater from that view. So like, and telepathically it was like he said, and it will be under indefinitely. And then I woke right up, and I posted a picture, I posted a post on Facebook saying I just woke up from a dream that an angel showed me Louisiana all the way underwater. And when I woke up, I was like, you know, I thought I heard Louisiana somewhere had another big flood going on, but this is bigger than that. The angel said indefinitely, like as if that whole little section of the U.S. is going to be underwater. Now, today I just saw the news that Houston had a big old flood. And they said it's going to get worse if it keeps raining. Now, I know it's kind of down there in that area, the Gulf of Mexico area, I guess. I'm not positive, but you know, yeah, it's down there somewhere. But I just want y'all to be aware and stuff that, you know, the angel came and visited me and told me Louisiana will be underwater indefinitely.
Hello, I'm Chief Meteorologist Carla Redondo with a 4 o'clock update on Tropical Depression Harvey. We're continuing to watch the of it and checking out the computer models. This is the satellite photograph of Harvey, and you can see it's down in the Gulf of Mexico, well to our south, but you can see the clouds extend all the way up towards our area. So some of the clouds across our region are some of the blow off of the thunderstorms from Harvey. So we have some clouds there from that tropical system out there. Now, this is the latest advisory as of 4 o'clock. You can see the winds are at 35 miles per hour. It is moving now at 2 miles per hour. It was stationary as of the 1 o'clock advisory, and you can see its location well south of Port O'Connor, Texas. So the big question is, where is it going to go and what it's going to do? Here's the latest track from the National Hurricane Center. So as we get towards Friday, we're going to see this system get closer to the coast of Texas. So by Friday at 1 p.m., it could be a very strong tropical storm or even a weak hurricane. So remember, when we've talked about these intensity forecasts from the National Hurricane Center, they're not as reliable as the track forecast. So usually I say it could be a category up or a category below. So this could be either a tropical storm or it could even be a weak hurricane. So that's something that we're going to have to keep an eye on over the course of the next couple of days, how strong it's going to be. Yeah, even though the direct impact of landfall is not going to be in Louisiana, there's still going to be some impacts for us. Now watch what happens as we go through. This is Saturday, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Watch what happens now as we go forward. Sunday, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Not very far from its location on Saturday. And then watch what happens on Monday. Monday, still pretty much in the same area. So this system may sit over Texas for 3 days, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So that's a big concern for Texas for a lot of heavy rain, but it is expected to start moving more to the east. So we are expecting eventually at some point this system could move back towards Louisiana. Now, could it come back out in the Gulf of Mexico? Yes, it could. Could it re-strengthen? Yes, it could. So we're going to keep an eye on where it goes. We're hoping it stays inland as it comes towards us. That way it'll stay a weak tropical storm or even just a depression as it moves towards us. But either way, we do think it's going to be a big rainmaker for us. That's why the possibility of heavy rain in our area is going to be our big concern. So as I show you some of the rainfall amounts that are predicted by these computer models, you can see that this is the way it looks as far as the wider picture. A lot of the heavy rain will be across southeast Texas, of course, with the landfall. And across our area, we could see anywhere from 5 to 7 inches of rain between now and Tuesday. But remember, this may be a long event for Tuesday into Wednesday, possibly even Thursday for us. So there may be more rain added onto that. So as of through Wednesday, the GFS model has about 21 inches in Houston, 11 inches or so around Lake Charles, and as I mentioned, 3, 4, maybe 5 inches across southeast Louisiana. And then you look at the European model, 15 inches, 8.5, and 3 to 5 inches of rain. So either way, it does look like we're looking at a long-term rain event here, maybe starting Monday, Tuesday into Wednesday, or even Thursday. So we are looking at possibly a big rain event coming our way. So even though this system's not moving towards us and not going to be moving towards us in the near future, it's early next week now. It looks like we may be dealing with some of this as far as heavy rain. So please keep that in mind. We'll continue to keep you updated on social media. We'll have another update coming up at 5 o'clock on Eyewitness News. But again, everybody should start thinking about possibly a heavy rain event come our way. Hopefully it's not going to be as bad that a tropical system can bring, but again, be prepared. Start thinking about what you would do if you have to be ready for some heavy rain, and this might be tropical rains that could last for a long time, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, possibly even the Thursday. So again, we'll keep you updated on social media, and we'll have the latest coming up on Eyewitness News at 5.
August the 23rd, 2017. You're looking at the visible radar image or satellite image from the Gulf of Mexico. This storm Harvey that we've been watching, guys, is now going back into a tropical depression, just as we thought it would. There's some updates that if you're not watching the weather that I think are critical and you need to pay very close attention to. One thing they're predicting now for the storm to strengthen into a tropical storm, possibly a Cat 1 hurricane before it strikes somewhere near Houston, according to the models now. And one of the things you're talking about is because it's moving so slow, it's going to move into Houston, Texas, or that area. Of course, our models are going to change some. But as it moves into Houston, Galveston area, they're expecting it to be picked up by another front coming across the United States and moving slowly along the coast, possibly keeping 1 foot out in the water. What that means is they're saying, Houston, you could see 18 inches of rain as this storm comes in and curves back. Now, of course, if it keeps a foot in the water, this rain is going to be heavy all along the Louisiana, Mississippi area, all the way through here, and depending on the track. But let's look at that track, because that in itself is interesting. Now, this is one of the strangest spaghetti models you'll see after it gets this close to land. Usually they're a little more defined, but you got your Canadian model stalling out here, slowly moving into the southern Texas border and maybe curving back into Mexico. But one of the things that are very interesting is if you look here, all of these storms are slowing and recurving. You see this? Some go up, curve all the way back around. I'm talking just total chaos depending on which way they're being picked up by the front. Now, the National Hurricane Center is showing it basically along this light green line. That's what they are showing now if you look at some of the channels that are on TV. Now, because of this curvature and this slow forward movement, strengthening is going to occur. It's in some of the warmest waters in the world, and it's going to get even warmer. Now, this is the predicted path, again, the green line, National Hurricane Center, but the cone of uncertainty is very wide. You see this? then it shows a curve in keeping itself out over the water. Now it's saying by Friday, by this particular model, it will be up to a strong a strong tropical storm, just 4 miles under a Cat 1 hurricane. I don't think that's going to happen, guys. I think it's going to get a little stronger than that. Right now, your winds are 35 miles an hour, but it's moving very slowly. Notice 9 miles an hour. That's giving it time to strengthen. And when you're dealing with the water going from where it's at now, warm to even warmer, then you've got trouble. Texas, Louisiana, pay attention to this in the next few days. Now, notice, very important, 8 a.m. Friday, right there, guys. It's right offshore. But notice Saturday, Sunday, Monday, the storm hasn't moved much. And it's still got a foot in the water. Again, National Hurricane Center model. Check that out. 3, you got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, without much movement of the storm. And always this edge, the leading edge of the storm, is going to have the highest waves and the highest winds. Right now, at what they're focusing on, and we're going to keep an eye on it. I'm going to be in Phoenix by this afternoon, settle down for about a week, and I can get a little more detail. I'm just getting this up before I get back on the road this morning, guys. But again, the rain is going to be intense. It's going to last for a long period of time. And during Matthew, more people were drowned and more people died from inland flooding than coastal flooding. Okay, but just keep an eye on it, guys. Tonight, I'm going to try to give you a full update on the sun, on this storm, and a couple other things that are going on. I know that the videos have been short, but they're hard to do when you're on the road, you're packing, traveling 1,000 miles a day. I appreciate you guys bearing with me on this trip. It's a heads up. Be safe.
You know, I've seen a lot of visions and things, and a lot of things came through. You know, all I can say is, please stay close to Jesus. Please find your way to Him. If you don't know Him, you better ask somebody. Get down on your knees and ask God Himself to forgive you, and ask Jesus to come and be your Savior. But I'm not really here to preach to you. I'm here to reach to you. I figured that God wanted me to tell you what I saw, and that's what I saw. So, you know, God bless everybody out there. Remember, you're the heads, not the tails. If God could use me, He could use you too. Amen.
Guys, I'm seeing something very unusual on the GOES satellite. What you're looking at is a composite of the United States. This is today, this morning. These are the latest images on the Rainbow Loop. And these images are very impressive. I've never seen anything form like this as one unified system that covers more than half of the United States. I mean, I've seen the big circular rotating ones, yes, but this is some sort of a line, a very strong line, probably where warm air is meeting cold air, but it is huge. It extends from the upper Northeast clear down past the Texas Panhandle. And what's unusual about it, it's got everything connected in between, with some very strong energy signatures, especially here in the lower half of Indiana, Southern Illinois, Missouri, Oklahoma, the Texas Panhandle, Nebraska. It just sent something very strong through the entire Manhattan Island, New York area. Look at that. And this has just erupted within the last couple of hours. You can see it on, I think it's this one here. You can see the storm starting to erupt. You can see it on Null School, the dark whites. If I move it around, you can see the dark whites. That's water content in the clouds. Look at this composite here. This is a 7-day composite, but watch right here. You're going to see this form very rapidly.
New Orleans under a state of emergency this morning. The city's water pumping system is malfunctioning, and with more rain in the forecast, officials say some neighborhoods are at risk of serious flooding. New Orleans is still recovering from last weekend's heavy rains. The city has only one working turbine, which provides power to drainage pumps, so schools are closed today as a precaution.
Parts of New Orleans were underwater Saturday into Sunday morning. Our WDSU meteorologists say the city got up to 8 inches of rain, 9 in some isolated areas. Gentilly to Lakeview, Mid-City to Treme, and parts of the CBD were all impacted. For several hours, homes and businesses dealt with standing water.
The devastating floods that swamped New Orleans last weekend have cost a number of officials their jobs. DeMarco Morgan is there.
As heavy rains on Saturday created flooding scenes reminiscent of Hurricane Katrina, 20 of the city's 121 drainage pumps were out of commission. Sewerage and Water Board Superintendent Joe Becker initially told us Monday the pumping stations were working at full capacity.
So there was no problems with the pumps at all. All the pumps were working. All of them were operating.
But the following day, at a city council meeting, he was forced to backtrack.
We tried to say, well, I was trying to say that we used the available pumping capacity to its fullest extent.
With nearly 10 inches of rain in 3 hours, Becker said the pumps were overwhelmed, but he admitted some were offline due to maintenance. One pump station operated at just 52% capacity. Now, 2 officials in charge of the pumping and drainage systems are out. Mayor Mitch Landrieu has asked for more resignations.
When you have credibility issues around anything, whether it's a big or small contributor to a major event, you have to do that.
Boy, where does all this rain come from? From the sky. Everybody knows that. But what Pete really wants to know is, how does the water get into the sky? Well, let's see. Fred sees one way. As the water dries off the horses, it goes into the air. But there are lots of other ways. When the sun comes out strongly after a shower, we can almost see the water disappearing into the air. Here, heat from the sun is drying the roof. Water at the top edge of the puddle slowly disappears into the air right before our eyes. Billions of gallons of water go into the air every hour from the ponds, lakes, rivers, and oceans all over the world. In fact, everything that dries is giving water to the air. Even wet fields do this. Yep, there's another way water can get into the air. The water on the doghouse roof dried pretty fast in the warm sun. This water disappears faster because the stove is hotter. This change from water we can see to water vapor we can't see is called evaporation. The cloud from the spout of the tea kettle is condensation of the water vapor from the tea kettle hitting the colder air. The hot water in the kettle gives off water vapor to the air by rapid evaporation, just as rivers, lakes, and ponds give off water vapor to the air by slow evaporation. As the hot water-filled air hits the colder air near the ice tray, the water vapor turns into clouds of tiny water droplets floating in the air, condensation. When the air is quite cold and cannot hold any more water droplets, they collect together to form larger drops, as on the ice tray. And being too heavy to float in the air, they fall back to the earth as rain. Without water in the air, we couldn't live. Our fields would be dry and nothing would grow. The hot water in the kettle gives off water vapor to the air by rapid evaporation, just as rivers, lakes, and ponds give off water vapor to the air by slow evaporation. The hot water in the kettle gives off water vapor to the air by rapid evaporation, just as rivers, lakes, and ponds give off water vapor to the air by slow evaporation. The hot water in the kettle gives off water vapor to the air by rapid evaporation, just as rivers, lakes, and ponds give off water vapor to the air by slow evaporation.
If you ever wonder where the rain comes from, here it is. This is Lamar County, some kind of power plant. They're using wet surface air coolers, and they're generating clouds like you would not believe. I've just been sitting here on a bike ride, getting all wet, and it's these guys right here that are making the weather, combined with whatever other goddamn crap they're using. Talk about fucked up. Look at this stuff. Goddamn fucking cloud machines. This is where the rain comes from, people. Open your goddamn eyes.
With this, again, you can see the eye has crossed over Aransas Bay there. Power outage index, this is interesting because it keeps going up and up and up, and I know you have reports, Stephanie and Lee do, about it. By the time we get to 3 a.m., you're seeing everybody's without power are highly, highly likely there in southeastern San Patricio County, where landfall is taking place, and on up till 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Western areas, you're looking pretty good. The power outage is going to be low. There'll be a few areas, but not many. Eastern areas, especially right near the path of the storm, high to extreme, meaning that's where the AEP is going to need to focus on reparations of that region. The future tracker shows the heavy rain continuing overnight up through 6:30 in the morning. And even through noon tomorrow, the northeastern quadrant of the coastal bend seeing more rain because the system will slowly stall up to the north around Victoria through 6 o'clock tomorrow night. That's why this is only moving out very slowly. And then Sunday morning, we see showers over the northern half of the region, but then by Sunday afternoon, much better here in Corpus Christi and up to the north. So it improves during the day on Sunday, and then that looping effect brings that rain back down over much of the region on Monday. So it doesn't completely go away anytime soon. It will start improving now that the eye of the storm has made landfall about 10:04 this evening just to our north. But it's not going to happen right away. It's just going to be a slow, gradual, and I would call it a painful process to watch this go down.
Okay, and I also wanted to update people. There are a lot of people who have lost power. We got an update about an hour ago. These are the most recent numbers that we have.